Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Queen Gaming, and Stuffy on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Changeling Tale, Grace's Path. Y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm changer, we're up, and let's go. And we were departing. I am curious as to what kind of adventures we're going to have with Grace, since this is entirely new content for the game, so hell yeah, I can't wait. And it's a good thing I have one of the ocean's kin as a guide. The sailor's shoulders sag. Lad, I know you're smitten with that creature of yours.
She's my sister, Douglas.
Very well, the charming young fish lady then. I do not judge. I myself were enamoured of the sea till this fair maiden came along.
Marion blushes deeply and I exchange a helpless look with Beaugaire.
But I'll say again, she is no ordinary lass. You'll not find a feistier soul in all of Scotland, and the man who follows her beyond the protection of this loch takes his life into his own hands.
Douglas, I trust her. She's the smartest creature he knows.
Yeah. Grace whacks her tail in the water, dousing Douglas. He whips his head around and scowls. This could mean trouble. A hellion she be, the largest nymphy goblin I've ever seen.
Nymphy goblin, huh? Maybe that's exactly what I am.
Alright now, lads and lassies, let's calm down. There's work to be done. Listen to the ocean, Campbell. She'll tell you a great deal more than your own eyes, and certainly more than that engorged sylph.
Grace smiles wider than I've ever seen. Marion shakes her head as she approaches me. You'll keep her out of trouble, won't you, Malcolm?
There's no stopping her, but yes, I'll do my best. I pull her into a tight hug, and I can feel her tears against my cheek. Our worlds are turning upside down, and we cling to this final bit of familiarity one last time. Thank you for everything. You'll keep Gran out of trouble too, won't you?
She's a rascal, that one, but Douglas and I can handle her.
I'll miss you all.
Same.
Heave! Ho! I clamber into the ship just as Douglas and Bulgaire push it into the water. Off to the side, I see the two sisters in one final lopsided embrace. The sight is bittersweet, but I know that deep down this is what Grace has always wanted. It's better this way, for all of us. As they pull the ropes and hoist the sail, I call back. Bulgaire! Douglas! Take care of you and yours. I expect to find Actor Craig no worse for wear upon our return. It won't be the same without you around, but we'll make do. Come back to us soon. Don't worry about us. You worry about yourself, lad. Remember, trust your instincts. The two waved me off, with Douglas still frowning and shaking his head. Even his frustration can't bring me down. Not today, on the eve of this much-needed holiday. I nearly dropped the ropes as Grace pops up, brandishing an old bottle that looks like it came straight from the sea floor.
I almost forgot.
Yep. What was that for?
For good luck. It's the maiden voyage of the Kelpie, after all. Ready to set sail, Captain Campbell.
Oh, fuck yeah. I can't help but laugh as I tie the final knots and sit down beside the rudder. Full speed ahead! The ship jerks forward as Grace carries the ship faster any wind would. Oh, wow. As we approach the mouth of the loch, I look back upon the green rolling hills. My home, or is it? It's not going anywhere, but I am.
It's happening!
I turn back to my girlfriend's full body, drifting beside me through the waves. She is my home. Wherever she goes, I'll have everything I need. Wind touches my face benevolently, caressing me in a way I welcome and crave. Free at last.
Beyond these cliff walls, there's nothing to box us in. Just you, me, and the ocean. You're a sailor now, Malcolm.
I'm not so sure about that. Not yet. Douglas's advice, though harsh, was wise. I still lack the confidence I probably ought to have in order to tackle the open ocean. When I look at Grace, her mastery of the water, her prowess, all my fears dissipate. She's now my anchor, my vessel, and my compass. And half of my heart. More than half. I love you, Grace.
I'll make you love the sea, too.
As she helps guide the ship between the narrow stone crevice walls, the entirety of my decision strikes me hard. We break free into the open ocean, and all I see before me is water. Vast, featureless water. Its grey colour is stark, yes, but also resembles a great blank slate. A chance to start anew.
It's really something, isn't it? Endless possibilities.
It's exciting. Grace's giddiness is contagious. I can't help but share her excitement. It's beautiful in its own way. What do you think we'll find over the horizon?
More water, of course.
Happiness, perhaps?
Look at me, Malcolm. I'm already happy.
She splashes around with delight.
And I'll make sure you are too. Whatever we need, the sea will provide. I'll see to it.
The provisions don't concern me as much as the accommodations. Spending week after week upon this tiny raft would be difficult, but it's still a step up from a rat-infested trench dugout. Can you take me beneath the waves from time to time? The view up here is bound to get a wee bit dull after a while.
Certainly. Below water and above. We'll stick together. Just be prepared to get wet.
She dives under and reappears, shooting a waterfall straight out of her mouth, dousing me with the first of what is sure to be the trip's many soaks. If she's to be my fate, so be it. This feisty soul, whom I've never seen happier, my companion on this journey, perhaps my companion for life. Someone who understands me, with whom I can share my troubles and dreams unfettered, far away from the real world. Second, y'all, it is water time. Alright, y'all, and we are back. Alright, we are setting sail. Okay. Whatever uncertainty we'd felt in our relationship, I believe we can leave behind in our wake, at least for now. And I begin to think we really are headed towards paradise. Alright, Chief Splashy Officer McLeod, anchors way! Anchors away! I turn my head long enough to watch the hills of Scotland become abstract shapes on the horizon, as the wind steers me towards new prospects, one ship to bring me home, another to take me away, always into the unknown. The pain I've carried so long, I let it go, if only to delight in this experience with Grace, to show her and myself that this vacation is just that, vacation from pain, physical or otherwise. Here goes nothing. No charts, no navigational aids. Just a waterlogged brochure and Grace's instincts to guide us would begin our journey. At first, we don't stray far from shore. The sight of land on the horizon is reassuring as I practice and refine my sailing skills. Grace steers me clear of shallow rocks, and I steer her clear of other vessels, lest she decide to douse their crews for fun. I try to steer around most ports as well, for Grace's sake. One exception is a brief visit to the seaside resort of Llandudno, where I procure an essential item. Finally, some proper somewhere. As my confidence grows, so too does the distance we travel from the mainland. We pass the Isles of Scilly, Britain's most southerly point, and I know we are well and truly on our way. From here we sail across foreign waters. I only make landfall to top off my fresh water supply when captured rainfall doesn't suffice. Following in Grace's wake, the sea is my home now. In this boat, the cubbyhole to which I am confined. Despite its size, I find that the ship is all I need. A strong hull, a comfortable cabin, a reliable rudder. The Kelpie sails straight and true, and I take pride in our restoration. When work is put in, the Kelpie reciprocates, and so I continue to work hard, controlling the sails and swabbing the deck. Even with just one passenger, I insist the ship stay clean and tidy. As much attention as the Kelpie demands, I can see why sailors grow attached to their vessels. Fortunately, it is not my only companion in this journey. Moments hit where I remember Moby Dick and the passage of the boy lost to the madness of the vast open sea. But Grace moves alongside like a shadow, my shadow, always there to provide food and comfort. At times she brings me along beneath the waves to explore, to play. These glimpses into her world are short, but a welcome break from life on the surface. As the number of days grows, we settle into a routine that works for both of us. Our conversations now are not the tales of others, but our own hopes and dreams. It really does feel like a fresh start. Yes, it's still more work than play, but with each passing day we both become enthralled with the idea of what's to come, what paradise awaits. The weather becomes milder. The water turns from murky grey to turquoise blue. Colourful birds that I can't identify fly overhead. Their appearance fills Grace with me with excitement. Where there are birds, there is land nearby. It's been weeks since we last saw terra firma. We must be nearing our destination. Grace swims ahead, eager to find our tropical Shangri-La. I'm scanning the line where the sky meets the sea. I swear I recognize land, perhaps even tall trees. But as the heat of the day builds, the horizon becomes obscured by dark clouds. The ocean begins to swell. Clouds are getting nearer. Keeping my composure, I tried to steer right of the ominous weather, but the wind has died down to an eerie calm, leaving me floating helplessly at the mercy of the sea. From the cloud's direction, I see Grace's form skimming across the waves. She's waving a frantic warning, and I know better than to dally any longer. I spur myself to action, clearing the deck, securing the cabin, and reefing the sails, making them as small as possible. A storm is coming. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. The gale arrives quickly, with little warning. It brings with it the devouring rains, the heavy pelting drops that won't cease. They slicken my grip, making it a struggle to hold on as the Kelpie bucks atop an onslaught of surf. Grace braves the rolling water to steady the hull, angling the front of the ship away from the waves that break and spill over the deck. Even her large body is dwarfed by the enormous sea swells. She strains to hold the Kelpie afloat, and I can tell the force tests her strength. A rope snaps and begins to lash fiercely. Just as I snatch it from the air and wrestle it back around the tie-down, another cord rips free. The sails are straining before the full force of the gale. If I don't do something fast, it won't be long before we don't have sails. I jump around the mast and pull the head and mainsails around, heaving to, trying to fill them with wind on the opposite side. Cloth whips and catches the air, slowing the ship but sending it into a dangerous leeward tilt. I hear Grace shout as I cling to the mast for dear life. To think I have any control over my ship's fate now is an illusion. I am fully in over my head. The wood I'm holding on to teeters violently. I lift my eyes to the heavens and say a silent prayer to anyone who might be listening. My eye is drawn to a ghostly luminescence at the tip of the mast, a delicate soft glow of violet against the heavy black clouds. It's a captivating phenomenon my grandfather once told me about, and what it portends. At this moment, the mast I've been clinging to seems more dangerous than churning waters around us. Grace! Over the howling wind, it's impossible to know if she can hear me. The glow is getting brighter. Arcs of electricity dance about its halo. All at once, a dread I haven't felt since the war overtakes me. Oh, goodness. Alright, y'all, I'm going to pause it right there. We're going to see what happens in the next video, y'all. Anyway, thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon or YouTube memberships if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!